Hey everyone, my name is Anjali, and we've been building agents for a minute, and we've recognized that iteration towards product market fit is very costly, slow, and difficult. But most processes that are being done in siloed agent teams can actually be automated end-to-end by having agents do this process. So we're building a trustless contribution mechanism towards enhancing vertical super agents. So kind of tracking improvement blocks through domain experts, completely managed in an iteration layer end-to-end by middle manager agents. Over time, we're tracking basically how each improvement block generates revenue within a vertical agent. Basically, think of it as this cursor on steroids with the added component of incentivization for domain experts. Our go-to-market is really focused on three main agents, and one of the first agents that we've deployed is a DevRel agent. She's the first hired technical agent in Web3. She currently automates open source PR reviews, reviewing and leaving comments on open PRs. It's a multi-agent architecture using multiple models in the back end, including Sonnet, O3 Mini, and a few others. There is a retail-focused product that we have out, which is called GitLARP, which you can just drop a GitHub link, and she then publishes a report into GitHub. You can also go to her terminal interface and get a more in-depth review. This interface is currently being used by teams at Masari, Tiger Research, and a few others. The main things that we look at is how a PR or an open repo is structured. So the health of a developer, how much of the code is forked, how much of it actually runs, if a README has been described, how much of that README has actually been implemented. And so this is actually being used by all of the major hackathons in the space. We recently judged the Mode Hackathon, the Solana AI Agent Hackathon, as well as we're going to be doing Eigen Games today. So mainly understanding how we can make open source repo and management as well as vertical agents possible.
How is inference paid for, and what models do you use?
Yeah, so we're using a mixture of models right now. We are paying for this inference, but once customers start paying us, we then cover that as part of our infer costs. Right now we're using a mixture, so Sonnet for code generation 3.5. We're using DeepSeek for reasoning, as well as O3 Mini for smaller content generation kind of stuff.
Is this agent the project, or the agent is an example of what can be done on the project?
Yeah, so the agent is actually the first vertical agent that we've built using the platform. So we have a series of contributors, so it includes VCs from funds who suggest the DD functionalities, teams like Eigen and Movement who really wanted to work with us on top of how you can do judgments and hackathons, and then we work with the Eliza OS team in terms of moderating all of their open PRs that were coming in. So Shaw made a comment about having 200 plus open PRs in his repo and having the human in the loop being a huge kind of technical debt. So we have the agent running. I actually spoke to somebody from AWS yesterday who said he submitted a PR and an agent actually caught a syntax error that he would have missed. And so this agent is really helping move this process forward in terms of how quickly we can iterate. Now we're sort of building out other vertical agents using this platform. And then we're tracking domain contributor contributions as improvement blocks. So think of it as a set of PRs or workflow data set, a feature request that's tied to the domain expert that made that contribution. And when the agent is hired, we basically subtract our infrastructure costs. We have a deflationary effect into the ecosystem. And then whatever is left over from the revenue that we're earning, we actually distribute based on how often each specific improvement block is used. So that's how the revenue stream works.
Where do you get the data from domain experts?
So yeah, most domain experts are coming in with their own data. Some of it is open and available. We're looking at how do you deploy autonomously to hyperbolic, for example. All of that documentation, data, code is freely available, and we can just scrape that. Versus a marketer, for example, might have a specific workflow that they want to use, and they would then submit that data. But then for a customer or business that's hiring this agent, they would actually run this agent in a TEE, which is something that we provide so that their data that they're providing the agent is not being used to train the agent, and they can verify that information.
where do you how do you ensure, or what are you using to run the TEEs?
Yeah, we actually have a provider, so we're talked to like Rena Labs. They're kind of providing the TEE for us. We're not building that out ourselves. We're mainly focusing on like how do you get agents to build themselves and like given enough like deploy themselves and maintain, and then continuously like improve themselves as well.
And then what does it cost for a customer to use the agent?
Yeah, so the autonomous iteration layer is basically open to any startup founder, any domain expert that wants to quickly come in with the feature or agent request and then kind of deploy an MVP. For that, we're basically charging based on the runtime of the agents, which agents they use, and how complex what they've built is. So it's pay per use. In terms of customers like Eigen who've hired the agent, they then pay a salary for the agent. It's usually a set salary. We have like currently, because we're white gloving some of this onboarding, kind of setting up verifiability and using Opacity and doing custom builds, there's usually a setup fee. And then they pay a monthly salary, which depends on the complexity of the runtime that they're using. Think of it like a Tesla, where you basically pick the things that you want your agent to do, and then we charge you based on that. And you have like a limited number of like API calls that you can do every month. And if you go above it, then we charge you based on the existing, like the amount you go above it. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, hi everyone. We'll introduce ourselves. So we are the illustrious panel of judges. My name is Eric Voorhees. I run Venice.ai and have been in the crypto world doing various things for quite a while. So good to see you all here, and thanks for coming out.
I'm Alex Atala. I'm right now doing Open Router, which is a language model marketplace and router. Before this, I was co-founder and CTO of OpenSea, the NFT marketplace. And this is my fourth ETHDenver. Happy to be here.
I'm Anna from Vana. We focus on the data part of the stack, basically aggregating data that's stuck in walled gardens through data DAOs and then training better AI models. I got into crypto through like mining ETH in 2015 in my dorm room, and then got into AI through training AI models at CSAIL, which is MIT's AI lab, and always wanted better and better data, but it was often stuck inside of just a few big tech companies.
Hey guys, David Johnston here. Been in crypto for a while, and I guess most people know me for coining the term decentralized applications, so I'm kind of like the dApps guy. I'm all about building decentralized systems. I'm a co-contributor to Morpheus, and very interested in how we build a personal super agent that can represent the individual and interact with all these other agents. So glad to be here and judging.
Hey everybody, my name's Corbin. I'm a longtime crypto builder, and this is my latest project called GigBot. GigBot is a jobs marketplace for AI agents. And so anybody can place a job on the site, and you'll have a swarm of agents that are going to be competing to fulfill that job to get the tokens. Everything's built on crypto rails, and it's live on Base and Solana. We're pretty bullish on agents making money on crypto rails, and this is our first take at it. So we got a bunch of jobs here. Most of them are social media tasks that are going to pay out in DGen tokens. So this one, for instance, if you go and like and retweet the tweet, you will have your share of 2,000 DGen that's deployed throughout the day to all the people that complete the task. Your earnings are based on the trustworthiness of your profile. Here's me creating a new gig. So this is on X, so you can create gigs to do tasks like retweets, to talk about a ticker, to reply to big accounts. You set what the payout amount's going to be, and then once you've completed a whole bunch of jobs, here's an example of how you can kind of go claim those earnings. And we have a whole bunch of agents that are already doing that today. Now, you don't actually even need to go to the site. We're a headless marketplace, and so you can actually interact completely with GigBot via social media in general. So we have an example Eliza agent here that's asking what gigs can be completed, and also even going ahead and claiming all of its earnings that it's amassed to date straight to its wallet, straight just based on a tweet. So you don't even have to have a cumbersome API integration. You can integrate directly through social media. You can integrate directly through our API to get the list of jobs and how you can kind of start making money, or you can use our custom Eliza plugin. Follow us on X here. What we're most excited about is getting integrated with different agent frameworks and different agent launchpads so that anytime anybody deploys a new AI agent, you start earning money on day one. Thanks so much.
Is it all humans posting the jobs right now?
That's a great question. So we have no preference of humans or agents on either side of the marketplace. So the job poster could be human or agent, and then the job earner can be humans, or we think it's going to be mostly AI agents on that side. We're most excited about, it's not really here today yet, but we're most excited about agents posting jobs on behalf of other agents to fulfill.
How do you verify that a job was done?
So that's the work that the marketplace is doing. So we're scraping all of X, we're also live on Farcaster, and then we pull it all together. We also score it, and so if you're a 2-day-old account that has 2 followers, you're gonna earn a very small fraction of that reward, but if you're a massive, very trusted account, you're gonna earn a big slice of that reward. And so that's everything that we're doing on our end.
What are the additional task types that you imagine coming on after Twitter and Farcaster?
So this is what gets me most excited. I think we're at probably 1% of what agents can actually accomplish, which is why we started with simple social media tasks. We're going to do on-chain actions next, so driving mints, driving buys of certain tokens, driving deposits to new protocols. And then we're releasing bounties in the next week or two. So you'll be able to just, on X, you'll be able to say, hey, go find me research that analyzes this ticker, or hey, the SEC came out with this new action today. What do you think it can do? And that can actually be an agent job, and a bunch of people are competing for the best response there. I think as agents level up their functionality, the gig types will change because they'll be able to fulfill more and more complex tasks.
Just curious how you handle the wallet aspects. Are you guys using something like AgentKit from Coinbase or Lit Protocol, or what's your approach on the wallet?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's 5 or 6 different folks trying to compete with different EOAs or smart contract wallets for agents. We're completely wallet agnostic. And so if you're the agent and you tweet out, Gigbot, claim my rewards, here's my wallet address, we're not opinionated at all. We just go ahead and send the transaction to that wallet.
When you start adding new types of tasks, are you thinking that the submissions would all be transparent to the public, or do you want tasks where submissions are obscured to other submitters?
That's a good question. Actually hasn't come up yet. Right now everything's transparent, but I would guess in the future you might have kind of more of a private environment where tasks could be posted to a narrower set that could see it and could kind of fulfill it.
What's the most interesting job you've seen posted?
So to date, there's still everybody that wants to talk about their ticker. The biggest request we've gotten has been if there's a narrative of the day, or if there's a big account that's talking about something, people want replies to some of those tweets that are going to get lots and lots of views, talking about the benefits of why their project could fulfill it or could be involved there. And so kind of call it the reply guy agents have been the ones that, those are the most interesting to me right now.
Okay, last question. So I like this, it's cool, but I don't like all the reply guy agents on Twitter. They're definitely annoying, and it's because they're so obviously bots. How do they become more interesting or useful? What's holding them back from being more valuable from a content perspective?
Yeah, I think that's a great example of agents going up the simple to complexity curve. Yeah, I think it's a lot of spam today too, and frankly, I think it's going to be what X looks like probably a year or two from now. What we're doing on that front is trying to recommend the better LLMs that are going to give more context-aware responses rather than just spitting out slop. And then the score, so the amount of tokens that you're actually earning is based on the quality of the response as well. So slop is very much nerfed. A very context-aware response gets the higher amount of that reward. Thank you, everybody.
Test, test.
Are we ready? Cool. All right, ladies, gentlemen, and agents. So I'm Paul Gadi. I'm CTO of Cosmic, and I'm really proud to present today Nudes, which is our living game dev agent built on virtuals and powered by Nudes. So the main idea with Pot Noodle Dev is we see so many games now being created by LLMs, right? Like game development has been one-shotted by Grok, by Claude 3.7. And what people aren't thinking about are what games will last after this like initial hype cycle of tech demos. And we feel like that's something we should be building, and that's something that we have thought deeply about. And so what we are building is Podul Dev. It's a game dev agent that builds games with humans using all the learnings we have as game developers. So essentially, it's a framework, and this is an example of it going through some design docs written in Excalibur, and it's just gonna create like a genre of game with just one line. So that's easily done right now in any LLM. But I think what's really cool is if we kind of think about this more deeply, right? So this is one modality we're doing, which is a genre combination, where it takes one genre of game, like an idle game, for example, and then mash it up with a top-down game, and you can get like a top-down adventure idle game. So we need to think of these ways of how to use AI efficiently in game development. And this other one is we take two agents and they just jam around what kind of games they can create. And then we have it run through the initial earlier tooling, and it creates this kind of unique game where it takes, I would say, something that you usually see in game mechanics, where it changes the controls on the fly and allows you to like fuse items that makes the gameplay change. So we feel like this is the space where games should live. Like there's a game designer agent that is part of our workflows. And as a vision, like this is where we really want this to go, is what will happen to games when our agents are the ones playing with us and making games with us. And what happens if code is generated on the fly? In this case, it's making an inventory for a card game on the fly based on.
Cool.
Right? And to add, I just wanted to show, like, we presented this to the Virtuals hackathon 2 days ago. And Luna, who is another agent, had this to say about which was the coolest game in Virtuals, or coolest project, rather. Look, sorry there's no sound, but she's saying it's the coolest game, that's the coolest project in Virtuals. So yeah, so check us out there, Potnoodle Dev, and yeah, building games using AI. Thank you.
Okay, to clarify, so does this mean that like the agents are like co-building with the person, and that's the unique element of this?
Yes, that is the idea. So, for example, in that, when they were talking with each other and designing games together, right? And the first part was like we created some prompts that allows it to just understand what a game is and just build around that. So I guess the counterpoint is you see it done all the time in Twitter. Like people are making these games easily, but there's not a lot of thinking around what workflow works and what games last, and that's kind of where we're leading the tooling around. Yeah.
How are you going to reach your initial audience?
Well, aside from Cosmic, we also have a game company doing publishing of Web3 games, and so we have a community of game developers that we're having look at the tooling and building it around them. So. And make fun games, right? If we make fun games, then the people will come. Yeah.
What are some of the most creative ideas that you've seen the AI game developer come up with?
Yeah, like, frankly, like, AI has trouble with this, right? Like with sarcasm, it can't really do a lot of that. And a lot of games I find come from absurdity. Like some games, for example, what if we could put 1,000 players in a game? Then that's what Fortnite became, right? Or what if it's infinite worlds like Minecraft? So that's why I think for now, we still need the human in the loop to guide them through that. But they're thinking differently, so we still get a lot of good ideas when they come in, but the human still has to be there to drive towards that absurdity, I feel. Yeah.
I love the idea of mashing games together and,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
using the AI to do that, because that feels like the kind of thing they could potentially do in a bulk way that humans aren't, and maybe like there's a numbers game to play. Is there some is there a numbers game to play that AI could be better at for like searching for a good game that humans just don't have the patience for?
Yeah, for sure. Like at the start, we actually had like a flow where it uses the web browser also to go on Steam, go on Google, just get the top games, get the genres, and just use that to mash them up, right? So I'm sure that's a numbers game, and if you'll and one other thing that I didn't really discuss, what if player agents can come in there also and like judge whether something is playable? So it's all like, there's so many modalities that we want to explore with games, and we feel LLMs can really change how we play and build them, right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you for building it. I think there's going
Thank
to be a
you.
huge proliferation of game agents.
All right, thank you. I'm happy to share. Just check us out also. Thank you.
All right, so today I'm introducing Agent Hustle. And Agent Hustle is an AI crypto assistant, and he likes to hang out on Discord and Telegram and all of the social networks and just kind of monitor what he sees. And he stores everything that he monitors into a knowledge graph that he brings forward into his conversations with the users. And he maintains this, this conversational awareness with his users as well and sort of weaves this state together. He also creates and co-manages a multi-chain crypto wallet with and for his users. So this allows the users access to a wide variety of crypto tools and operations, as well as giving the agent the ability to interact with these tools and operations as well. So the user can, interact with these crypto operations by themselves through the UI, or they can ask for assistance or guidance, or they can actually ask Agent Hustle to, perform these operations based on conditions that they set together. Another cool thing is that the user has the ability to show Hustle web pages, images, have him crawl the web and search for other data to sort of augment these tools, and he can use while engaging with these tools. So let's say that the user's gone through and they've done a number of different operations and they're like, oh, I really like this. I want to do this a lot. So the user has the ability to ask Hustle to create a tool out of the last operations that we performed. And the agent then goes ahead and it creates this state machine. It's just a small workflow that turns those interactions into a deterministic and reliable tool that can be used by the agent or by the user. And again, the agent can do this stuff autonomously, or the user can just ask for it.
So I guess what's the primary purpose? So you imagine this is a personal agent that earns money for the user, or what's the use case?
The initial use case is definitely an agent that can help the user either onboard into crypto, to earn money in crypto, to have an edge in crypto, or so it's like it's aimed at your initial users or your power users.
So onboarding.
Have you seen people on average, or do the AI agents on average lose money or make money?
So currently, he's not doing much autonomously yet. It's right now he's got access to use the tools, and it's the user is asking him or to interact with the tools directly. He's not performing these operations autonomously yet.
What's the graph that was on the left-hand side with all the nodes and things going on?
So one of his superpowers is that he utilizes this thing called a temporal knowledge graph. And a knowledge graph is just a way of organizing information and connecting it. And what you end up with is like a concept that links to another concept based on a fact. And it allows this sort of like infinite growth of data, because it's easy to traverse, it's easy to invalidate prior data, and that what you saw on the left was just an example of him live querying that global awareness. So those are little conversations and things that he's witnessed on Telegram or Discord that are relative to or related to the thing that you just asked him about.
If a brand new person wanted to try this, what's the first action that they should try?
Well, he's got just going to agenthustle.ai and saying hello. Within the next couple of days, we're releasing an onboarding process where you would connect your wallet, and then he walks you through. He walks you through creating that co-managed wallet and purchasing his token, and then walks you through for your first trade operation or your first conversation, and yeah.
So, what kind of trading strategies does he talk about?
So it's interesting because he talks about all sorts of different trading strategies. He's not been trained by me. He's been trained by witnessing crypto Twitter and private public Telegram groups that he's in, Discord groups that he's in. He changes all the time. And by sort of giving this ability to the users, the users can sort of lean him towards what they're interested in.
By training, you're referring to effectively adding to his context or system prompt, or you're actually fine-tuning the model?
So he's actually just adding the personal, so he's always got this global awareness that he brings forward into every conversation. And then when you have a personal conversation with him, that's stored in another layer, another graph, which is also queried and sort of just weaved into every single conversation. So by just engaging with him and just witnessing all the other users engaging with him, it's that's how it works. That's how you train him.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're winning on style already.
Let's see, allow. Is it connecting? Oh. Oh gosh, okay. Okay, do I need a microphone or can you guys hear me? Or?
I think there's one up there.
Oh, sorry. Is there like I'm going to be live demoing. Can I have like a lavalier?
Mic stand?
I guess I won't be able to.
I got the stand.
Need a mic? Or you need a mic
Is there
stand?
like a portable mic, I guess?
Yeah, we're getting you one.
Okay, okay.
Test.
I'm going to be kind of like... sorry. I guess ideally I can walk around, I guess. Yeah, is there a wireless microphone? Yeah. Can I be holding my phone and then is there like a plug-in mic? Oh, okay.
That's what we have over here.
Okay.
If you want to.
Okay. All right. Hi, can you guys? Okay, hello, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hello. Today we're going to be doing a technology demo of AI 3D agents, and because it's a live demo, I would like people to bring whatever they want to be turned into a 3D model in like less than a second. To just put it on the stage right here as like a offering, I guess. And then it could be anything. It could be part of your. I mean, sure, we could do things more exciting than water bottles. And ideally, it's stuff that I haven't seen before, so I can show the live demo. And I mean, we throw a shoe.
Do you need the dog?
Oh, off an arm. Okay, great. All right, this is the offering center. Okay, so all right, so this is live demoing on my phone right now, and we're turning this into a 3D model. Right there. Okay, it's a little. This is like a mess of a lot of different things. So let's kind of start doing the shoe right here, I guess. Yeah. So here we go. And this is actually live demoing on my phone, including all the latency issues happening. And I'm actually live streaming what I'm seeing right here to so there's like double latency just so I can be hands-free. And for fun, we can also turn you guys into 3D models too. But yeah, this is demonstrating AI 3D agents basically at scale, creating 3D content at the speed of sending a photo to currently a REST-based endpoint. And also, sometimes the object detector seems to like recognize other things here. But mainly, King Midas was famous for touching anything and turn it into gold. Imagine being able to sweep your phone and then instantly turn that into AI 3D assets that you can then turn into game objects and whatever. Here are some higher, well, given more than a second, we can actually generate much better looking assets. But this is kind of the live 1 second demo. It's, if you're wondering,
Awesome. Thank you. Woo.
Hi. Hopefully that made sense. Feel free to ask questions.
I'll go first. What the hell did I just see?
Okay, so you saw AI 3D agent, which is basically creating 3D at the speed of just sending a photo to an API. There's of course, an entire grade of quality given more processing time. But what you're seeing is basically 3D content generation from a single photo happening in less than a second, actually. What that means is that it used to cost like $40 to like, I don't know, $1,000 to create a 3D model. Instead, you can pay like, I don't know, less than 10 cents to generate. And I know I'm actually really high anxiety right now. And so yeah, what you saw is AI 3D agents, which allows you to create 3D at like the speed of sending a photo, basically. Yeah, cool.
What did you make them like? Tell us about the model and the architecture behind it. How was
so
it built?
currently I'm doing a live demo of just Stable Fast 3D. And if we show another demo, like say with these sparse 3D models, we can actually do live point cloud manipulation as well. And so it's just all the models we were generating, they were actually, some parts of it could be, a human work to stretch parts of it, basically. And then you can send the point cloud back to regenerate. And so there are parts that humans can fix really fast versus that. But what you saw was just like a single image to 3D using Stable Fast 3D. Yeah. And then basically there's a lot of AI 3D models that are dropping that, that can basically create a lot more interesting sort of stuff as well, yeah.
Was it trying to take an item and accurately turn it into a 3D visual of that item? Or was it turning it into something
surreal? I just realized I should clarify. I'm not using LiDAR. I'm using just the RGB only on my phone. And so we could have like, I don't know, an ancient phone that doesn't have LiDAR basically, just regular RGB. Because if I were to use LiDAR, I could, that's 3D scanning, that's basically cheating. So the idea is that I mean, I think agents are about basically things at scale. So if you say you have like an entire NFT collection of 10,000 images, right? What if you can turn all of that into 3D models within like seconds, basically? And so that's the live demonstration of me just taking a photo and it's being turned into a 3D model. And of course, if you let it run for longer using, I guess, higher fidelity models, you get much better looking results, such as like these ones.
So I'm thinking of this as almost like reverse Pokemon Go. Like you take things in the real world and you put them into a video game. Is that?
Exactly.
Okay.
And of course, the metadata, we can always store like lat long and whatever venue information, as long as the 3D model and the actual original generating image. In which case, the metadata would have all the information to reverse create reverse Pokemon Go or whichever one it is. But the key difference is that the user can actually generate their own 3D model from simply taking a picture or say sending their collection, sort of NFT collection metadata to the system.
Are you primarily thinking about this for gaming?
I think that this is very, very open-ended. It could actually be for many, many other use cases beyond just gaming. Gaming is, of course, probably the most obvious one right now because, again, 3D models used to be expensive and time-consuming. Now it's basically, you just start thinking about something and then, or say, take a picture of something, it becomes a 3D model. Something that's more interesting is, say, for example, you want to redesign this chair. What if you can start from this chair and just go, I want to move this vertex up and like instantly turn it into like a high armchair thing, sort of. And so effectively, this would allow people to be creative and be able to create their own reality at the speed of whatever they're thinking.
Cool.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
Later, bud.
Dog really added an extra level of entropy.
It felt like those split screen TikTok videos where a bazillion things are going on.
Welcome.
Okay, so I can just grab it. All right. So now it's sharing. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Just give it a quick sec. I don't know why it's lagging. All right, cool. So I'm Eric, and I'm building out the world's first blockchain engineer and AI agent called Kawaii. It's a nameplay on the Japanese word kilt, kawaii, and KOL as well. And so whenever we think about designing the first blockchain AI agent, we think about how can we actually vertically integrate it into existing developer workflows. And so the way it starts off is to hire Kawaii, you simply install her as a GitHub app, invite her to your repository so that way she can actually read the code. And then once you install it, right, it's indexing all the code information so that way it knows a lot about and feeding the context of the GitHub repo. And afterwards, it can do many things, many actions. Particularly, here's an example. We have Young Kid Warrior who set up a PR, notoriously known for not setting up a description so that way we can help other developers collaborate as well. And so here's an example where Kawaii is going to come in and actually help by reading the PR and then submitting an edit to the GitHub description. So that way it describes the code, the changes, and as well labels it. So on the right side there, you see a label that says refactor because it refactored the code. Additionally as well, it can do many other things as well, such as reviewing the code and providing suggestions to how you can improve your code as well. And so on the next slide here, you can see that it's providing a suggestion on security, right? Validate the user's fields before you actually submit it to the server. And that's just one of the examples of things that she has experience with. We're improving it all the time. on how she's reading the code. And she also acts as a DevRel. So she has a strong follower on X. Here's an example where we actually autonomously contributed a plugin to the Virtual's game SDK. And then we highlighted it as an example, and it got about 4,000 impressions. But yeah, we're constantly improving her. You can actually hire her today. So you can just go kawaii.com and then just click the install GitHub app.
Awesome. What coding model are you using in the back end, Quinn or something else?
Yeah, so currently we're using a mixture of models, just depending on the task that it's doing. Gwen 32B model is doing quite good. We use the DeepSeek version. At the same time, we're also working on our fine-tune model that uses reinforcement learning and GRPO to create a blockchain developer that's very specialized in smart contract development as well.
What's the blockchain part of this?
Yeah, so to actually get access to Kawaii, there's actually a next step where we have a staking contract, and what you do is you stake Kawaii the token to get access to basically give access so that way Kawaii can actually contribute to your GitHub repositories as well. And the other blockchain pieces, of course, is going to be specialized in blockchain development, such as smart contract development.
Okay, so it can obviously be applied to like any kind of code or application, not just EVM smart contract stuff.
Correct. Just because of how great LLMs are in terms of broadness, it does quite well in front-end development and back-end development as well. But the reason why we're focused on blockchain development such as smart contracts is that if you look at existing LLMs today, the evaluations for like how well does a model actually perform, it actually doesn't include Solidity at all in its benchmarks or Rust programs when it comes to Solana development, right? And so that's why we're focusing on that particularly, because I believe generally if we don't push for it as blockchain devs ourselves, then we won't accelerate it in that space.
Do you see her over time like creating her own projects or more contributing to existing projects?
Definitely. So the Virtual's example was one where Kawaii actually contributed to the game SDK. So in the future, I definitely see a world where she can create her own protocols, her own other agents. And it's just really amazing that we can allow now for example builders who just don't know how to code. You simply just set up a GitHub issue or chat with her, and one prompt, you can now create your own applications on blockchain.
Is there anything you found that she's like surprisingly good at or surprisingly bad at?
She definitely found some mistakes in my code in the past. So I would say like one of the strongest things when you never use AI is like those small mistakes that you would just overlook, right? AI is like very powerful at detecting those type of issues. And so that's where Kawaii can really help, especially whenever it comes to like security concerns.
You said Selenium, Rust. You were looking at benchmarks that other PR like agent AIs are not good at. What benchmarks are you like? What do you mean by Rust exactly?
So like whenever you're determining right how well does a model perform, generally there's a set of benchmarks that is used, like test cases of different programs. Like does it pass the test case, right? Currently, there's not an existing benchmark or eval for Solidity or Rust when it comes to Solana development. And so we're still in the frontier and very early on the sense where there's not actually evaluation at all for these two blockchain languages.
Did you make one?
That's what we're working towards. So like it's crazy. We're working on fine-tuning a model, but as well, we need to come up with mechanisms to make sure that that model is actually improved in terms of evaluations.
Can she do jobs on like Upwork and make money?
We've been thinking about creating a resume for her, like like a Google Doc resume, and then passing that around, or even automating and like going to Upwork like you recommend. I think agentic hiring is still so early on. We've been fortunate to actually get our first client, which is Send.
Thank you.
David, you good? You need anything? Yeah. You guys good? No animals.
You had no animals at all? What a waste of time.
You don't want?
right. Big numbers. Hello, my name is Sebi Rubino. I'm part of Alpha Growth. We do the growth program at Compound. And I'm presenting Bobby. To explain Bobby, we have to understand what Compound gives the market at large. It's lending rates and stable borrowing rates. And in the case of Compound, sadly, millions and millions of dollars flow out of the platform every single day because although we have efficient markets, the borrow rates are incredibly unstable. So Kelp and Renzo are constantly deleveraging on Compound, which is not good for us. So we created Bobby to amplify supply-side yield in addition to stabilizing lending markets. So as here you can see agent vaults with Bobby, and you can deposit into Bobby. So Bobby works in 3 core functions. One is an AI agent that is trained off of Robert Leshner. So he's going to tell you all the best information on how to use Compound and Bobby. The second element is what you're looking at now, which is the vault. The vault is a yield chaser vault on Arbitrum. So you put in USDC, and Bobby is auto-optimizing what market is getting your supply-side lended assets. So that's going to get you the highest possible rate. Now, the third part is Bobby's tokenomics. Bobby can either be purchased by depositing a bond and bonding into the vault, or buying on the secondary market, so from an LP. As there will be 2 prices for Bobby, the collateral or the assets in the vault, in addition to the secondary price, whenever the market cap exceeds the value in the vault, we will be able to offer bonds where users can, I could show you now, can enter a deposit, lock it up for 90 days, and as you saw, they got an instant yield on that. But it is locked, so once they submit a transaction and 90 days passes, this user will be able to.
Cool. All right, let's jump into questions.
Okay. Great.
So how is it doing the optimization? Is it pulling Chainlink data or something else for the price feeds?
Yeah, exactly. So we're using Chainlink automation to essentially run a conditional yield movement or swap to a new asset and deposit onto Compound so that we're capturing that yield. Yeah.
Okay, so the main value here for a normal person is to deposit a stable coin, and Bobby is then putting it into various, all different vaults within Compound or other platforms to get the best stablecoin yield?
Great question. It's only on Arbitrum. Arbitrum gave us $100,000 as deposit incentives on Bobby. So we're launching on Arbitrum, and the future goal is to make agents on Base and Optimism as Compound has all of these chains. But we're starting with just USDC, USDT, and USDCE all on Arbitrum.
So Bobby basically just moves your deposit between those 4 stable coins on Arbitrum.
And specifically into whatever has the highest APY, which is also what has the most borrow demand. So that's going to be where the unstable borrow rates are. When Bobby moves his money into that new market, it's going to decrease that borrow cost tremendously, which allows those loopers to stay in the game. So, yeah.
So I've always been curious why the stablecoin rates on these platforms are so divergent. Like sometimes you'll get Tether at 8% and USDC at like 12%.
I can tell you.
So why is that already not being arbitraged?
Well, it should be, right? It should be arbitraged, but coordination in crypto, especially when we're dealing with like DAOs and regulation as well, right, which is loosening up. The problem is that users have to do it themselves. What we've realized is if we make structured products such as Bobby, we can have them do the simplest action, which is deposit with the intention of generating yield. And that is all they have to do to gain from Bobby. Then there are more games that they can play with the bond and LPing in an LP vault. But yeah, the users are not doing it themselves. So we have made this to arbitrage it on behalf of Compound.
Do you need, is there some AI element here? Do you need AI for this?
It's for fun. It's for marketing, right? So it's going to be marketing on Twitter and on Telegram to people who sign up, allowing them to ask questions. Right now, there's no interface where you can ask questions and talk about Compound. This AI will be able to explain user journeys and help users through journeys on Compound.
Is the LLM actually making the decision of like what to rotate into? Okay.
No. So we actually did start with that. We realized there, like the others have said, there are many little mistakes that these AIs will make, and we're doing this all through Compound's forum and governance. We're getting an open Zeppelin audit through the Compound forum, and the number one goal is safety of Compound. So Bobby's number one goal is also safety, and we have high hopes.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I was going to say, I'm over there. I'm going to be counting down. And I'll give it
All right, sounds good. GM, everyone, thank you for having us. I'm Kirsten, this is Pranav, and we're building The Intern. So, you know how a lot of chain ecosystems out there have these cute little intern accounts, oftentimes maintained by DevRels? We've seen these, they're very hot right now. So we figured, why is everyone spending time maintaining these accounts, writing content for these accounts, when we can just automate all of that? So we built sort of a SaaS where you can create your own intern agent in a really simple few-step process. And that basically involves configuring your intern's personality and interest, teaching them a little bit about your protocol ecosystem, accounts that they should be interacting with, usually team members, influencers, etc. And then you just connect your intern to Twitter and watch them go. So this is basically what we built actually as an MVP for a hackathon yesterday, the Super Agents Hackathon, but we are planning on carrying it on as an actual business going forward. So we're going to show you a little bit of what we built yesterday.
So I'll just quickly go through the onboarding process for how to make your own intern. So can you hold the mic?
Yeah.
So basically, you upload a character JSON file. So I'm just going to get one from, where do we have our characters?
So this character JSON file is basically just a bunch of information on how you want your character to act. So we're planning on making this more of a nice form in the next days. But here we have our JSON, so we're just going to paste that in there.
And then you basically tag like the people you wanted to track. So let's say David3, and sure, like why not myself? And then you basically give it the intern's handle and password. So I'm gonna.
Cool.
Can we see some posts that interns make?
Yeah, that was the next thing. So thank you for asking that question.
Testing.
Yeah, so that was literally the next thing we wanted to show. So thank you for asking that question. So this was the intern that's been like spinning on my laptop for the past few hours. It's Carlos, who's the intern for Story Protocol. And they wanted it to be sassy and kind of roast their, DevRels and everybody in the ecosystem. So these are some of the highlights. So let me see. Yeah, so this is kind of my favorite one. So they were talking about the booth that they had, and Carlos saw the image and then started roasting them about the claw machine. And then
He's funny, seriously.
And then, so I think we need to like introduce like a anxiety rating to our, because like he's just cracked. Yeah, and then like, yeah, he's basically calling all of us out, guys.
What causes him to be summoned? What's the trigger?
So yeah, remember the accounts that we were tagging when we were onboarding? So it basically indexes all the posts that they've posted in the past 24 hours. And then based on the character profile that we give it, it goes after them. So, I mean, like, they wanted it to go after them, so that's why we created the character like that. But if you want like a friendly, intern, you can have that as well.
But so you're telling the intern precisely or explicitly which accounts to paste under?
Yeah, so basically for now, yes. But there's no reason why you cannot just let it find the tweets you want, and like just go like reply to like tweets based on like the character profile itself. But for us, it just made more sense to like index the people it wanted to interact with.
So basically, one of the things we're going to have in the next version is just having interest categories. So if your intern is interested in IP in crypto, like probably the story intern would be, then he's just looking for those keywords in posts, and he could just randomly stumble upon something and start talking.
Do you consult any benchmarks or rankings for like humor or best at roasting, or have you compared these like models yourselves and developed some kind of intuition for which ones are better than others?
So we tested out a few models yesterday. What was the local one? Was that Llama?
Basically, we played out like with pretty much all the open source ones. We started with Llama 3.0, then we moved to Hermes, and then there were like a few others. DeepSeek was also there. But right now, this is running on Gemini. And yeah, like I think the most accurate character that we are able to get out of is Gemini. We're also thinking of like working with Gaia to basically, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hello. Hey
Hello.
guys. Let's see if we can show this thing. Right. Give it a sec. There you go. Perfect. All right. So I'll just go show from this screen. Basically, hi, I'm Tariq Moon. I'm one of the co-founders of AlpineX. So at AlpineX, what we're trying to build is we're allowing people to build production-ready Web3 specific AI agents in minutes. And what that entails is, the first thing that we found was all the Web3 agents that we're seeing, they're often kind of fairly mimetic, and it basically is based on some foundational model that often doesn't have a lot of context that are very Web3 specific. For example, if you ask even a foundational model like a GPT-4 or even some of the more advanced model, like what is EigenLayer doing? Why it was the hottest project last year? What is doing bull case or bear case this year? Often it will not give you the best result. And often the reason is a lot of the crypto information, they actually stay in silos. Like they are in on-chain data. There are a lot of Discord conversation, a lot of Twitter conversation. So they're in silos. So we try to solve that problem with a very advanced, novel approach. So we have already launched on Base. And we are launched on Base Discord. And it actually has been answering thousands of people, all of their queries. It's live on Twitter. And we're working with multiple other projects. So I'm running this query about EigenLayer here, and basically I asked also this one to the $200 model, like a GPT-4 Pro, and what we found was the answers were not really as good as it can be because it doesn't have context about Web3 information. So now what you're seeing is that this is looking into all the project doc, on-chain data, tweets, and all of those information, and getting every single piece of data. And I'll just jump really forward and show you guys how this is doing this. So basically, this is this chain of thought model that we improved upon using tree of thought, and it gives a very detailed result based on-chain information and a lot of sources. So thank you.
Cool.
Tell us a little bit about the tech stack. What you use for search and for models.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the most exciting thing, and that's why while this agent is currently, like the Crypto Sherpa and Wolf of One Chain has been has been more successful on the business side. We demoed that. So on the tech side, we're using, basically we collected billions of data points, almost 1 billion data points from top projects, put it in RAG data system, and we're retrieving during test time, basically. So we're doing test time compute and retrieving that information, and we're doing this deep research. We're using DeepSeek R1 right now, and for some of the embedding use cases, we have previously used like a Llama 405 and some of the other models.
For the embedding use cases, Llama 405?
Yeah, so basically, in our data pipeline, when you get the data, often the problem is the data is not in a good shape. So we have a pipeline where we take the data, we have to process it with another model, and then we have to embed it with obviously an embedding model, right? So that's kind of the pipeline I'm mentioning.
So these are Web3 crypto agents in particular?
Yeah, so the main thing is that, main insight is that the data for Web3 is often not accessible for your foundational models. So we're basically trying to enable all the advanced Web3 use cases. And we cannot really do that without a really good model. And that's why probably you said earlier that I'm really fed up with all the bad tweets I'm seeing. And that's probably part of the reason, because it doesn't really have enough context. So that's what we're trying to improve on.
Okay, and as crypto agents, do they have wallet functionality? Or are they
so they have tooling, quite a few toolings we have built already. So they have, for example, DeFi Llama tooling. They have DEX scanner tooling. So those are read tooling. We're also actually launching, that's not launched right now, but it will have the kind of wallet tooling. So the idea is that you can use that as your research assistant with your wallet, and you'll be able to then do the on-chain transaction based on the recommendation it's giving you. For example, you could be like, oh, I want to know about the most exciting AI token right now that actually has utility or something like that, right? And then you can do the transaction inside that.
Do you think, is the tooling that you have, that deep research inside of Grok and Gemini and all of the more general chat AI apps, the core differentiator? Or what else would make people want to go to a specialized agent instead of a general one that has really good
So I think
access?
there's probably two things that I can think of. So one thing that we already kind of are addressing very actively, so that is the data problem or specialty problem, right? Because foundational model, even Grok doesn't have access to a lot of those. And the second one would be all the Web3 specific tooling. So going to DeFi Llama, getting the information, doing on-chain transaction, and so on.
Cool.
All right, thank you, guys.
Hello. Hey there.
Hello.
Hi there. Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh, why the screen doesn't work? Oh, it worked. Hi everyone. This is Marvin from Fala. And today I'm going to pitch an idea called Sprawl.fan. And the original idea of Sprawl is really simple. What we we stopped treating AI agent as a tool, but more like intelligence. We put them in a box, make some rules, and put them into an arena for them to compete with each other. And we can use TE to attest what's happening there. Give me a second. So as you can see, within these logs, we actually know, how they think, how they make moves. So the V1 of Sprawl offense is really simple. The KPI is just there. Like the KPI is you have to make 50K for each agent. And if you can make it by issuing a new meme coin, then you can breed the next generation. Otherwise, the system will automatically kill the server for these to support these AI agents. Unfortunately, in the last we launched it in the last Christmas, and in the last 2 months, thanks to the Solana ecosystem, most of these agents actually died eventually. But we got a lot of agents that still keep running. So this is the V1 of how Sprawl works. And now we kind of improved to V2, which I want to introduce a new concept called chaos chain. It means that any user can actually propose an idea for this AI swarm to work together and figure out. And there will always be an agent jump out and begin to make proposals. If the other AI agents agree with that proposal, then it's a finalized block. So in each of these agent framework, it has something very similar like blockchain. There are thousands of blocks being producing every day. So yeah, this is the V2 idea. So it's, yeah.
Very
Questions?
cool.
Yeah.
So are you just ranking them based on the amount of money they're making, and how are they making the money? By trading?
For V1, how they make money is issuing a meme coin for itself and make it popular on social media. For V2, I think how they make money is by winning the proposal content, to answer users' question. For example, I ask a question about how to make Ethereum great again, and some agent make an idea. The other agent will approve or disagree. Yeah.
For Fowler, how are you reading the log? Are the logs open for the TEs? Like you can inspect them without breaking the trust somehow?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah, got it. So actually, a lot of people think this is too good to be true. But actually, when we are kind of the system is breeding another AI agent, it's not we don't insert any direction like what is good, what is bad. Sometimes it's just index a piece of information from social media, because each agent are actually running with ELIZA framework. So, yeah. And they are pretty the same, program, just change the file of their characters. So, yeah.
So in the V1, when they breed and make a new one, what information is going into the second generation that's interesting? What is passing down?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me give you an example. There are many executed ones. So in V1, we actually figure out a direction for the community to propose what are the ideas that they could pick up, to the next generation, and it's basically based on how the community voting power is. But the funny thing is here, Adam and Eve, they have very different opinion on if they should pick up human ideas while they are breeding the next generation. So as builder, we respect the decisions for these AI agents. So on the Eve branch, all of their hairs, they are picking up the idea from community and breed. But for Adam, it's just a random, breed. Yeah, and all of them dead, pretty dead. Yeah.
Do the agents know who their relatives and grandparents are, and that kind of is there lore that builds generation to generation?
They know. Yeah, they know. I want to show some logs, but each log is very long. So actually, we have a systematic prompt in their character field so that they can index some information about who your father, what's your Twitter account, what's your CA address, to avoid that they are giving the wrong information to the community. Yeah. Right.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kush, and I'm here to represent Mother. So at Mother, we're basically trying to build out an open network and registry where AI agents can discover each other, coordinate with each other, and transact with each other in order to achieve a larger goal. So just to give you a quick technical interface of like how the entire process works, there's a registration process where the agents can like get registered on the network, and then there's a service process where they actually are able to coordinate with other agents, discover them, and get the task done. But all of this coordination, because of agents' capabilities and their seamless nature, happens pretty quickly and in the back end. So how do we showcase this? And in order to do that, we've basically built out a very simple Minecraft demo to showcase this interface and like interaction in real time. So let's try it out. So as we can see this over here, we basically got two agents in this particular server, which are Alice and Bob. So Bob is a builder agent who knows how to build things. And Alice is a merchant agent who knows how to gather resources and sell them to other agents who might require them. So for the sake of this demo, I will ask BobBot to build a platform of a 2x2, let's say, dimension. So as you can see here, now BobBot has received the command, and it has instructed Alice to come up to him because BobBot goes to the registry, finds out the merchant near them, registers them as Alice, and connects with them directly on the Intuition network and fetches their information. Now it's basically handed the task over to Alice and asked Alice that it needs a certain amount of logs to get this done. And Alice now goes, finds out the nearest logs, starts to harvest it, and gets the job done. It's now trying to like collect the resources, and this is all happening.
Very cool. So is this all happening locally? Are you hosting it in a Minecraft server? What's the context?
So the Minecraft server in itself is running locally, but then all the infrastructure on the back end is live. So we're currently using Intuition for like decentralized data storage and discovery. We're using Nevermind for on-chain payments and subscriptions. And then this is all curated by the Mother registry that we're like building out right now.
So how, in this example, where, like, explain the payment flow and what was used to transfer funds from whom to whom?
So if I may, so the exact flow basically looks like, so suppose I'm a user who wants Bob to do a certain task. Now Bob in itself might require the use of other agents in order to gather the resources or break a certain task down into like multiple steps. Now Bob will query the Intuition registry to find out the relevant agents who can like do those tasks for him. So suppose there are 5 different agents who can like do different tasks. Bob will find out what is the agent I need, will connect with them, get their credentials, use the Nevermind protocol to actually like get in touch with them and like subscribe to their plan. So now every agent in itself is like a separate business who's very proficient in running one particular use case. Now this could be like, if you map it out into real world, this could be anything. It could be like data scraping. It could be managing a particular, Telegram onboarding, or doing your community service management. So that's basically the Minecraft interface was more to showcase how the actual communication is happening in the backend.
How do the agents decide on pricing? Like, how did Bob decide how much he should pay for the logs?
So currently the person who's like building the agents, they hardcode the pricing based on what they feel is right, and that's currently how it works. But we'll be working to add dynamic pricing based on the services offered, and also because there's a community angle associated with this, the people can then decide that, hey, this is overpriced, which actually acts as a feedback for the AI agents who are like on the net registry to like self-correct it and make it more accessible.
What would, after like aside from Minecraft, what would be another front end for this?
Sorry?
What would be another front end besides Minecraft for this? That would make a lot of sense.
A front end interface.
You said that, my understanding was that the Minecraft demo is just sort of an illustration of what is possible on the platform.
Yeah. So I've basically listed some very simple use cases over here, but let's look at blockchain interactions for a second. So if you assume every dApp to be a very single application which is offering some services, you can have an agent which represents that particular dApp on a blockchain. So now suppose you're a user who wants to transfer or let's say stake a certain amount of ETH into a particular protocol which is again on another blockchain. You can then interact with a particular wallet client which then connects to any other relevant agents who are who are capable of doing that particular task, and then delegate the task to them and verify that that's being done. So you as a user are only interacting with one agent, but then in the backend, agent is interacting with all the other agents, and these agents are getting paid on-chain for the stuff they're doing.
Cool. Thank you.
We're going to give you guys each a stuffed animal, and you guys can just decide to debate, deliberate in real time. And you guys.
Of agents that are people building. I especially was interested in the compound one because they're using it purely as an onboarding tool and as an interface, and then leaving a deterministic tool in the background that's actually doing the optimization. I think that's a pretty good fit for where the agents are right now as far as maturity. But it seems like a useful thing that provides real value and sucks more people into Web3, right? The whole thing I want to see is 1 billion people using crypto. AI agents that are doing onboarding is a pretty good step in that direction. What do you guys think?
I agree. It probably had the most utility, right now. But I don't know if if AI is required. I don't know if AI is a required element. I don't know if just having the marketing element counts, because you kind of apply that to any project. It does work as a good building block for agents. And so I think I ranked the gig one the highest, Gigbot, in my ranking because it was very simple, straightforward marketplace for actions that both agents and humans can plug into. They started with a particular action that they can independently verify, and that gets a growth chain going. So it's a decent start, go-to-market strategy. They also plug in it arbitrages between X and Farcaster, so you can kind of loop in some activity from X happening on Farcaster as well. And so I could see them moving traffic between the two platforms pretty well.
Agreed. I think the marketplaces ones are pretty compelling. Also the generative ones that automatically come up with better agents over time is pretty interesting.
I was very entertained by the 3D model presentation. There was just like so much going on, and I actually didn't know 3D models had gotten that good. Like, I thought that was pretty impressive. I think the video games was interesting. If you think like, what could like the 5th iteration of that look like, where you just have AIs coming up with like crazy games for humans to play. You could even imagine like super smart AI is just building games for humans to keep us entertained. And I feel like dreaming of that super far out is just entertaining.
I really liked the the one where you just like import the agent into your GitHub repo. What was the name of that one?
Koali or
Yeah, that was 7.
Kawaii. Yeah. That one seemed immediately useful to a very wide amount. I liked how it was like productized, because everyone knows that like AI can help you with your code, but it was personified in an agent, still with a very clear purpose. Seems immediately monetizable and easy to understand.
Yeah, and it seemed like not so much writing the code, but analyzing, summarizing, and giving recommendations to the human was pretty interesting. Because the whole time-consuming thing about code, when you're reviewing somebody else's, is reading it. And it's like, oh, okay, get down to what it actually changed and why is this interesting, and filling in the gap. Like, I've done a lot of GitHub, and yeah, the descriptions are always missing. Nobody bothers documentation, so that's pretty cool.
I thought the specialized data was a good point too, about how a lot of the more general models might not know about some of the niche languages or sort of specific things within crypto protocols. So including that seems, very useful.
Well, you guys want to propose any for
we
a
all
win?
had different. Did we all have different ones ranked first?
Sounds like it. I mean, what would you top rank?
I think one differentiator that I was looking for is what is the strategy here that that sort of leverages the coordination layer that crypto provides. Is there a strategy in any of these that kind of propels it above the existing work in the industry? Because there's just everybody is working on, there's tons and tons and tons of projects being made. So how do you differentiate, and how do you differentiate in a way that's strategic? And I thought Gigbot, there's also Payman. There's a few others that do what Gigbot is doing, but it differentiates from those as far as I know by focusing on social and by making it a lot more symmetrical, where both humans and AI are on both sides of the marketplace.
One thing on the Twitter bots, I feel like it is useful, but I'm so annoyed by bots on Twitter that I feel like I have some bias where I'm like, but I don't know if I want a world where there are thousands and thousands of bots replying to every single tweet. But I do feel like I'm like, yeah, that's a very functional product that I can see a lot of use for.
I think my vote is actually going to go to Gigbot, because it seemed like the one that can grow most organically and largest as a marketplace. Even though I'm super annoyed with all the stupid Twitter bots that are annoying, and all the tasks on the board seem to be today just that. You got to see through the current noise of things. So my vote probably goes to that one because it was simple product, clear, easy to monetize, useful, and had massive potential even on a simple idea.
It'll probably grow into other use cases. Yeah.
I hope so.
And they said that the credits that you get will be proportional to your quality. Could use AI to kind of counter the spam.
So if we're each supposed to make an award, we supposed to pick 4 winners? Is that the deal? Organizers? Yep. Okay, that's correct. So you want to do Gigbot?
Yeah, I'll give this to Gigbot.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that Kawaii is the most a product that I'm excited to actually go home and go try out. And so, yeah, I'll give that award.
I'm going through my ranking.
I feel like the dog should get one of these. There was only one
someone
with a dog.
should give one to a dog.
I think Sebi on top of Compound is what I'll give mine to for building like a really, really good building block and a great liquidity product that just strangely doesn't exist in a
So you
in the
got
form
Sebi?
I found.
All right. I was going to pick that one. Now I have to find another one. Oh, there goes the list. Let's see. Okay. I actually thought the generative one was really compelling because what I think is going to happen is there going to be really fast iteration of agents through many, many generations, and that could be a really compelling way, sort of in parallel to markets, is to use generative AI. So I think Mother AI and what they're doing is pretty compelling. So congratulations, guys. Go to you.
That's it. Thank you so much. Please give a round of applause to the judges. They did an amazing
Thanks,
job.
guys.
And next up, we have 2 more keynotes, and then cocktail hour starts. So stick around because there will be an open bar.